Welcome back, Queens. Let's talk about a pain so raw it feels like your soul is being torn in two. The pain of being ignored. You've felt it, haven't you? That crushing, suffocating silence. The way he looks right through you like you're invisible. The way your messages sit there, unread, like little ghosts haunting your phone. He doesn't just ignore you, he erases you like you're nothing, and he thinks he's won. Oh, but here's the thing about silence. It cuts both ways. He thinks his indifference is power, but all he's really done is light a fire in you that he can't control. You're not just another woman he can ghost. You're the storm he's not ready for, the reckoning he never saw coming. Let him sit on his throne of nothing, smug and blind. He thinks you're shattered, lying there in the rubble of his silence. But what he doesn't see, what he's too small to see, is that rubble isn't your end. It's your foundation. Every unanswered call, every cold glance, every second of his smug silence, it's fuel, and you're about to explode. Queens, listen to me. You are not disposable. You are not optional. You are fire, fury, and everything he'll regret losing for the rest of his miserable days. When he wakes up from this delusion, when he realizes the diamond he threw away, it'll hit him like a freight train. And by then, you'll be untouchable. Let him drown in his ego. Let him choke on his pride. Because while he's playing games, you're building empires. While he's busy ignoring you, you're becoming the woman he'll beg for in his darkest nights. And when he finally comes crawling back, because he will crawl, you'll do what queens do. You'll look down, smirk, and keep walking. This isn't just silence, queens. This is the storm before the earthquake. This is the moment before you rise, unshaken and unbroken. His silence is just noise, and your roar is coming. Are you ready to shake the world? Let's go. Number 1. Cut the strings. He's been pulling the strings, hasn't he? The silence, the delay, the coldness. It wasn't random. It was never a mistake. Every single time you felt small, every time your heart sank, every moment you doubted yourself, it was all orchestrated. He wanted you to feel powerless, like a puppet in his twisted play, dancing on his command. But here's the brutal, raw truth. The moment you see those strings, the moment you see the game for what it is, you're done. That's it. No more playing. No more falling for his tricks. Cut the strings. You were never weak. You were never some piece in his broken puzzle. He made you believe you were. But now you see it. His whole empire is built on lies and manipulation. You were just a pawn in his sick fantasy. But now, you're the one holding the scissors. You're the one with the power to obliterate it all. Watch as everything crumbles. The second you cut those strings, he's no longer pulling anything. He's left dangling. You think he has control? You think he has power? Without you, he's nothing. He's a marionette, lost in a void, struggling to find his footing, confused, helpless, powerless. You've felt it, right? That rush of freedom, that spark of rebellion. That's you waking up, realizing you've been living in his shadow. But now you're rising like a storm, relentless, unstoppable. And him, he's still stuck in his game, wondering where the hell his strings went. He's lost, and it's glorious. You were never meant to be his puppet. Never. He just wanted you to believe it. But no more. The moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop feeding into his sick little drama, that's when you win. He'll beg. He'll try to get you back in the loop. But you're done. You've seen the strings, you've cut them, and now he's the one begging for control. You think he has the power? No, you do. The strings are gone, and now you're the one in control of your destiny. Watch him struggle. Watch him choke on his own lies while you break free. Cut the strings. Let him dangle in the chaos he created. You're rising. You're stepping into your own. You're unstoppable. You were never his puppet. You never were. Number 2. Turn pain into power. He thought your pain would break you. He thought it would swallow you whole, that the darkness would consume you and you'd fade into nothing, lost forever in the wreckage he left behind. He watched, waiting for you to fall, for you to crumble under the weight of his betrayal. But here's the thing, he was dead wrong. Pain doesn't destroy you, it ignites you. It doesn't bury you, it transforms you into something unstoppable, something fierce. Every single ounce of your pain is power. Think of the pressure it takes to turn coal into a diamond. The world never sees the crushing weight, the endless pressure. But when that coal finally emerges, it's pure brilliance. That's what's happening to you. You're not collapsing. You're evolving. You're turning into a force that he couldn't even dream of breaking. You were never weak. You were never small. You were just underestimated. Look at you now. You're the storm that's coming, the fire that can't be put out. Every tear that fell, it's fuel. Every moment of anguish, it's power. You're taking all that pain, all that hurt, and you're channeling it into something the world will fear. You are becoming. And don't for one second think you've lost anything. You haven't lost a damn thing. He lost you. He lost the woman who would rise from the flames like a phoenix, who would tear down every wall, shatter every illusion. He thought he was walking away. But what he doesn't realize is that he was never meant to have you. He was just a stepping stone, a lesson, a fleeting chapter in your story. Now the book is yours to write. And trust me, it won't be pretty for anyone who gets in your way. Feel that fire inside you. That's not just anger, that's power. That's the energy you're going to use to destroy the version of you that was once afraid to move forward. You're going to rise from this stronger than anyone ever thought possible. The woman you were before, she's gone. The woman who walks through this pain and owns it, she's unstoppable. You think you were beaten? You think he won? No, this is where you start taking back everything. Every bit of yourself you thought you lost. It's coming back 10 times stronger. So take the pain, hold it in your hands and look at it. See it for what it is. It's not your weakness. It's your armor. It's your weapon. You're not surviving. You're conquering. And when the world sees you rise from the ashes, when they watch the chaos you're about to unleash, they will know with every fiber of their being that they should never, ever have underestimated you. Pain doesn't break you. It makes you. And now, you're untouchable. Number 3, be the flame he can't handle. He thought he could break you, thought he could shatter you with silence, with rejection, with cruelty. He thought you'd wither, thought you'd crawl away into the shadows and fade. But he was dead wrong. You're not just a flicker, you're an eruption waiting to happen. Every word he tossed at you, every cold shoulder, every moment of pain, it didn't crush you. It fed you, built you. With every attempt to stomp you out, you only grew stronger. Every hit, every insult, every moment he tried to make you feel less, it became fuel to your fire. And now, that fire's an uncontrollable inferno that he can't even look at without burning himself. He thought he could walk away, thought you'd crumble in his absence. But all he did was ignite something inside you, something darker, fiercer, and more untamed than he'll ever be ready for. Now, you're not just a fire. You're the wildfire he'll never escape. You didn't just survive, you evolved. What he couldn't see, what he failed to understand, is that rejection doesn't break you, it sharpens you. It forges you into something so unstoppable that even he can't comprehend it. You've become something unrecognizable to him, something he'll never control. And when he comes crawling back, thinking he can slide back into the warmth he once felt from you, he won't feel warmth. He'll feel the searing heat of everything he burned and tried to destroy. He'll find himself wasted by the flames he thought he could escape. You're no longer a flicker to be cradled, no longer something to be handled. You are the blaze. And this fire, it devours. He can't handle this. You're not the girl he thought he knew. You've evolved into something untouchable, something dangerous, something that will never bend, never break. You stand tall in a world that tried to make you fall. And every step you take is a storm he will never see coming. Your light, it's not a light at all. It's a weapon, a force. It obliterates everything in its path. You don't need him. You don't need anyone. So let them talk. Let them watch. Let them regret ever thinking they could burn you out. Let them sit in the ashes, wondering how they ever believed they could take you down. Because now, you are the fire, the blaze, the force that leaves everything scorched in your wake. And when they come back, begging for the warmth they lost, you'll give them nothing but smoke, nothing but the reminder that once you were something they could dim, but now, they can't even look at you without feeling the heat. So stand up, own it. You are untouchable, unbreakable. You are the fire that will never go out. Say it with me. I am the flame. I am the storm. I am untouchable. I am the burn he'll never outrun. Number 4. His ignorance is your awakening. Imagine a gardener holding in his hand something so precious, so rare, that it could change the very landscape. A plant unlike any other, vibrant, alive, full of untapped power. But instead of protecting it, nurturing it, he casts it aside like it's nothing. He assumes it'll thrive without care. He walks away, thinking the world will take care of it. He smirks, thinking he's left it to wither. What he doesn't know, what he can't see, is that the universe doesn't need him. The rain will come, the sun will rise, and that plant will burst into life. It will grow stronger, taller, more magnificent than he ever imagined. It will bloom with a power so fierce, so untouchable, that even he will tremble in its shadow. And guess what? That's you. He thought he could break you, that his indifference would destroy you. He thought his neglect would make you shrink, make you fade. But here's the brutal truth he didn't count on. His ignorance wasn't your end. It was your awakening. His blindness to your worth, that's his curse, not yours. While he was busy thinking you were just another thing to cast aside, you were becoming something unstoppable. You were becoming the very thing he would never be able to control. You see, what he didn't realize is that when he turned his back on you, he wasn't getting rid of a weak, desperate soul. He was waking up a version of you so powerful, so raw, that even he would be crushed under its weight. You didn't need him. You never did. His ignorance, it didn't break you, it ignited you. It lit a fire deep inside, one that burns hotter and brighter than anything he could ever imagine. His rejection, it fueled your rise. His refusal to see your value, It pushed you into your power, turning you into something dangerous. You've learned the hard way, but you've learned it well. You don't need his validation. You don't need his approval. You don't need his love. You are the fire that needs no spark, the force that needs no reason. You are the storm that destroys everything in its path. While he's sitting there, small and weak, wondering what went wrong, you're rising. You're towering over the wreckage he left behind. He thought ignoring you would make you fade away. Instead, it's given you the space to grow beyond recognition. Now, you're standing in a power so raw, so untouchable, he can't even look at you without feeling his own inadequacy. He can't even breathe in the presence of what you've become. He will never be able to touch this version of you, let alone control it. So, let him regret it. Let him sit in the dark, wondering how he ever missed out on the wild beauty of you. Let him feel the heat of your absence. Let him burn in the ashes of his own ignorance. Because when you rise like a freaking explosion. You rise like the sun that scorches everything in its path. He doesn't get to be a part of that. Not now, not ever. Say it with me and feel it burn through your soul. I am awakened. I am unstoppable. His ignorance was my fuel, and now I am the storm he never saw coming. Write it down. Say it in the mirror. Let it become your mantra. Let it scream from every cell in your body. You are no longer the version he thought he could control. You are the fire that will never be extinguished. You are the earthquake that will shake the foundations of everything he thought he knew about you. He walked away, thinking you'd disappear. But what he didn't count on, you didn't just survive, you broke free. And now, you're untouchable. You're the force he can't outrun, the power he'll never control. Let him watch. Let him burn with the regret of never knowing the strength you always had. Number 5, become the storm. Now picture this, a man on the shore, chest puffed out like he owns the world. The clouds on the horizon. He laughs at them. Harmless, meaningless, he thinks, because in his mind he's invincible, untouchable. But then it hits, the storm, out of nowhere, winds howling like a beast unleashed, waves roaring like gods. Lightning splits the sky, and the calm he took for granted is swallowed whole. That storm, it's you. He thought he could walk away from you, dismiss you like a soft breeze. He saw nothing but fragility, something easy to forget. What he didn't see was the storm building inside you. Pain, rejection, neglect. They didn't break you. They transformed you. You didn't just survive the chaos, you became it. Now you're not just a whisper in the wind. You're the thunder that cracks the sky open, the hurricane that can't be stopped. Storms don't ask for permission. They don't beg for recognition. They rise, they rage, and everything in their path is left trembling. When he looks at you now, he'll feel the weight of every chance he wasted, every moment he could have valued you. Your presence alone will crash into him like a wave he can't escape. He'll watch the fire in your eyes, hear the roar in your voice, and know he lost you. Forever. Say it aloud. I am the storm. I am untouchable. Let it pulse through your veins. You are not the fragile thing he thought you were. You are the storm he'll never outrun. Let him drown in the regret of underestimating your power. You didn't just rise, you erupted. And now, the storm is here, and there's no turning back. Number 6, don't block him. Blind him with your glow. He thought he shattered you. He thought your fire was just a flicker, something he could snuff out with a breath. In his story, you're the broken one, curled up, sobbing, holding on to the pieces he left behind. He imagined you blocking him, deleting him, vanishing like a ghost too weak to haunt him. That's the fantasy he's clinging to, that he won, that you're down for the count. But oh, Queen, he doesn't know who the hell he was dealing with. You're not blocking him. You're not hiding. You're not crawling away in shame. Why? Because you've evolved beyond him. His absence doesn't sting, his presence doesn't faze you, and his memory. It's just static now, background noise you don't even notice. But you won't just move on. No, that would be too easy. You're going to blind him with the fire he thought he extinguished. Picture it. He's scrolling through his feed, expecting to see heartbreak, hoping for those vague, pitiful cries for attention. Instead, he sees you, glowing like a phoenix reborn, laughing like the world is yours, achieving things he never imagined you could. And every post, every smile, every milestone isn't for him. It's for you. But oh, it burns him. Every photo is a dagger. Every laugh is thunder in his ears. He thought you'd crumble under the weight of his betrayal, but instead you became the storm he never saw coming. He can't look away, and he can't stand to see it. You, thriving. You, unstoppable. You, a force of nature that makes him feel smaller than dust. Say it. I don't hide. I rise. And rise you have, higher than he ever imagined, brighter than he can bear to see. Blocking him. That's mercy. Letting him watch you shine is justice. Let him feel every ounce of regret as you soar into a life he'll never touch. You're not just glowing, you're blinding. You're a wildfire, a hurricane, a supernova. He can't run from your light, and he'll never escape the truth. You were always too much for him, and now you're untouchable. So shine, Queen. Shine so brightly it scorches the edges of his pathetic little world. Burn so fiercely that he'll carry the memory of your fire for the rest of his life. You've already won. Queens, this isn't about petty revenge or playing his games. It's about seizing the crown that was always yours. You're not here to mend his regrets or validate his emptiness. No, you're here to set the world on fire with the force of your comeback, to claim what's rightfully yours without a second glance at the ashes you leave behind. Let him sit in the silence of your absence, the deafening void that reminds him every second of what he lost. Let him choke on the emptiness where your energy, your fire, your everything once lived. You don't explain. You don't chase. You don't crumble. You don't bow. You reign. And when it finally hits him, when the weight of your absence drags him into his own storm, he'll look for you. But all he'll find is the distance, the unshakable, untouchable greatness you've ascended to. He'll reach for the woman he underestimated, and his hands will find nothing but air as you stand miles ahead, untouchable, unstoppable, and crowned in glory. Because queens don't crawl back into the dirt. They rise from it. And when they rise, they don't just shine, they blind. They reign with a fire that can't be tamed, a power that can't be ignored, and a legacy that echoes long after they're gone. Your throne is waiting. Stand tall, rule fiercely, and let the world remember, when a queen rises, she doesn't just take her place, she commands the universe. Now, go. Reclaim your throne, and let him drown in the regret of ever thinking you were anything less than royalty.